Hi, I'm Lou Ann Hunt, and welcome to the May edition of Lynchburg 360. Chances are you've heard of the term STEM program. The STEM stands for science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Wouldn't it be great if there was one place where you could go to learn more about all of those subjects or to share your own knowledge and collaborate on projects? That's the goal of a new nonprofit called Vector Space, where everyone from experts to amateurs can get their hands on equipment from woodworking tools to 3D printers, all for a small monthly fee.
Vector Space is a makerspace. We are a place that you can come and build. We have classes. We do all sorts of hands-on learning and activities. That includes everything from woodworking and metalworking to computer programming and electronics, 3D printing, textiles. If you want to build something, you can probably do that here. Naming it was almost as hard as naming our children. We spent a lot of time trying to decide what we would name it. A lot of makerspaces and hackerspaces are called just, Lynchburg Makerspace or Lynchburg Hackerspace. We wanted something with a little more, personality than that. So a vector space mathematically is a group of things together, and that's really what this space is. We have all kinds of things coming together, all kinds of people, all kinds of community, all kinds of making and doing happening in one place. We also liked that it had the word space in it, as we are a physical space that people can come and work at. My husband and I started this, but we're a nonprofit, so we have a board of 7 people that make sort of the executive decisions on how the space is run, but we also have a whole group of members. And the idea with Vector Space is that it is for our members. We have, a little bit of woodworking, a little bit of metalworking. We kind of have a little bit of everything, and the future of what we have will depend on what our members are looking for. So if we get a whole bunch of people in here that are really interested in woodworking, that's where we're gonna, invest. That's what the board is gonna decide to purchase tools in that area. So we is really members, board members, our family. There's a lot of people involved.
I've been a member just for a short while, but I've been volunteering for a few weeks since they've moved into the space here, and I'm gonna help embellish some of the walls with painting and hopefully doing a logo, and also helping with the signage outside. I plan on using the space personally for some projects that I do at home, and also for some crafting and resale that I do. And then I'd love to get more involved in volunteering or instructing some of the science outreach projects. I think that Lynchburg people are always looking for things to do outside of work, and we live in a beautiful part of the state where there's a lot of outdoor activities, but this allows people to be indoors and be creative, and then the outreach components of it teach and expose people to different aspects of the science education components, and then other creative outlets that they might not get elsewhere.
Over the summer, we did a class called the Multicopter Video Project, where we had a group of 6 high school students who designed and built their own quadcopter. They did everything from deciding whether it was going to be a quadcopter, a tricopter. They had to decide how big it was going to be. They designed and 3D printed a lot of the pieces. They had 2 cameras attached to the drone, and so we flew around downtown Lynchburg, got some footage, and then they learned a little bit of video editing as well to put together some video. So it was a fun project.
So my name is Adam Spinelli. I'm the Director of Education here at Vector Space, and this is our space. So this area right here is our hand tool area. And you can see with our tool wall here, this is just the very beginning. Our philosophy is we want things to be visible. We want you to come in and see the tools that you need rather than hide them away in any drawers. So maybe you don't know how to use every one of these tools, or you didn't even know they existed, but you walk in and you see them and you might get an idea, or you might see someone else using it. So that's the idea with the very visible tools. And then this area here is our assembly area. So you would use these hand tools, use hand power tools to build the things that you're working on. And right now I'm working on a balance bike for my toddler. So over this way is our computer lab. We've got a number of computers, many of which were donated from workforce development. And right now, we're using these for a lot of different projects. We've had workshops going on here for students to learn programming. And then we also have our space balloon class going on that makes use of these computers as well. And then over here, we have 2 circuit benches. So here's where you would do all of your electronics, all of your soldering. We have power supplies and oscilloscopes, plenty of components like resistors and capacitors and transistors. Hopefully anything that you would need to do a simple project. And we make all of these things available to our members. So that's one circuit bench right there and another one right over here. And we have things here like Arduinos, Raspberry Pi, BeagleBone. These are all different microcontrollers, which are essentially computers that let you interface between the computer, the world of electrons, and the world of atoms, the real world. So things like building robots or musical instruments or anything strange and interesting like that, or a drone. And here is our lounge. And this is just for our members to come in and relax. We've got an arcade machine right there that Elise and I built a few years ago. And it's still coming together, but it does actually work. So here we have member storage. And a lot of this is not in its final location. We're going to be moving these things. But basically, here's a spot where, and actually a member built this storage for us, but it's a spot where members can store their projects in their own bins. And so there are bins for the space balloon teams, there are bins for members and other classes, and some past projects. This right here. This is the quadcopter that 6 high school students built last year. So it doesn't have its propellers on there, but it does actually fly when you put those propellers on. Or at least it used to. So here's the textiles area right now, and we're still looking for members interested in these areas to come in and really spruce things up. But we received donations of scrap fabrics. Moore and Giles donated a large bin of scrap leathers that we're very happy to have, so thank you to Moore and Giles. This is just a lot of scrap lumber that was given to us that we plan to tear down and turn into something else. Over here is our woodworking area. And it's, again, a work in progress, but it's coming along. We've had a member build this lumber rack for us to store all of our scrap lumber. And everything on that rack and really in that whole area is made available to our members. So if you were a member, you could come in, grab something from the lumber rack there, and start building. So we have table saw, bandsaw, scroll saw, drill press, router table, miter saw, basically all the fundamentals, some sanders, a joiner, hopefully everything you need to go from a rough lumber to a finished product. Over here is where we're going to have our machine shop. So right now, there's not much. We have a couple stick welders, but we've been planning to grow this area, and we're actually talking with local precision machining and manufacturing company AMG, and they're trying to help us out and make available a vertical mill, and we'll hopefully be getting a metal lathe that we'll have here, a chop saw, and a MIG welder.
I like that it is centrally located and the community and other members are able to come in and see the space. Even just walking by it, when you peek in the windows, it looks really interesting and intriguing. So the space just breeds creativity and interest just by being right in the downtown area.
Come visit, come see us. We love visitors. If you just want to come by and see what is this all about, come on in. Weekends are a great time, evenings, there's people here. If you want to join, you can join as a member, sort of like a gym membership. You pay a monthly fee and then you have a key to the door. You come, you use tools, you work on whatever you'd like to work on. We get you safety trained when you join as a member. We also have classes. You can join and participate in classes as a member or not as a member if you just want to come and take a class or a workshop. We have a lot of those going on. We need participants, we need volunteers, donors. The more the community is involved, the more this can be the community's space. So whatever it is that you want to see, whatever you want to build, come and do that here. We love community partnerships as well. We have a partnership with Parks and Recreation, where we're building an engineered community garden. We have several other ideas for community collaboration. So if you are part of an organization and you want to collaborate on an idea, we'd love to hear that as well.
All right, 3, 2, 1.
April showers may bring May flowers, but they also help ring in strawberry season. And if you're a fan of the juicy red fruit, you know there's no better way of enjoying strawberries than to pick your own right at the farm. That's where Steve Smallshaw is taking us in this month's Day Tripper segment.
Tell me a little bit about the history of the farm. It's been here for quite a while.
Yes, sir. My parents moved here to Campbell County in 1952. They were young marrieds and thought this seemed like the promised land. They came here in February and it was warm and sunny, and that's when they came. I came along about 10 years later, and grew up here on the farm. My parents dairied here, milked cows, and did some custom work for other folks. I kind of grew into it, then grew out of it for a while and worked auto mechanics for a while. I had an opportunity to come back on the farm and chose that, and here we are.
What brought you back?
Opportunity. I was the last of my family brothers, the youngest of the family, and Daddy said, you know, none of the others want to, so it worked for me to come back, and we were young marrieds then. It looked like a good opportunity for us to raise a family in an agrarian setting, and that's what we were interested in, so we're glad we did.
These days, though, is it tough to be a farmer?
It's challenging. There are some very interesting niches here. People are interested in their food. You know, having a market, being close to a group of people like Lynchburg is, that are interested in food production and knowing the sources, it creates a real unique opportunity that we've tried to tap into.
It's almost like an agritourism industry has sort of sprung up, really, and have you all tried to tap into that?
Yes, sir. Some by default, some by design. We've, you know, my dad started raising the hydroponic tomatoes here and started marketing those and having people come to the farm back in the middle 90s. We've grown that, expanded it, and with some input and encouragement from our children, we've moved into the fall activities, pumpkins, a nice corn maze, and some other things like that. So yes, agritourism is becoming a very important part of the farm.
And how do you draw people out here then?
We have done some diverse types of advertising, more traditional types, but last year or two our social media connections have really pulled people in. You know, seems to have struck a nerve, and you know, people are in contact really regularly. It works pretty well. Facebook, Twitter, etc.
Farming is as old as mankind, but you still have to be in the 21st century as well.
Yes, sir, that's correct. You have to stay up to date, at least somewhat. And my children drag me along kicking and screaming. So.
Now, what can a visitor expect to see once they come onto the farm here?
Well, we are a working farm, so you'll see some nooks and crannies where things aren't polished up like Miller Park would be. But when you come out to the farm, I think what impresses a lot of folks is the space. You know, just the green, the space, seeing some animals. We have some animals here just for interest, some rabbits, some goats. A working part of the farm are the young dairy animals that we raise here. We have 150 or so of dairy replacement heifers that we raise for a dairy farmer. So you'd see all of those things around. Obviously, if you're looking for berries, you've got red on your mind. So we hope to show you a nice strawberry patch full of red berries. We start off slow, and the berries, are scattered. But as we get into May, then there are many, many more of them. You'll find our family here and some other staffers that we hire in, folks we know. We hope everybody will be friendly to you, but the space, the quietness, the twitter, the barn swallows, and finding a source for some food for you. That's what we hope you find here.
Yeah. Can you tell me a little bit more about the hydroponic tomatoes? That's a relatively new concept.
It is, and it isn't. Yes, there have been segments of the world's population that use some type of water-based nutrition for many, many years. Daddy started this in '94. There were several. It was fairly new then, yes, for tomatoes. We find it to be a steady income through the winter. We raise them in the greenhouse, a controlled environment. Takes a lot of heat, but tomatoes seem to do pretty well in there, and with the fertilizers, the type of production that we're doing and the varieties that we use, we're coming up with a pretty tasty product. So when it's certainly not quite a July garden tomato, from year that you raised yourself, but they're pretty good in January for sure. So. And
there definitely is a market for people who want fresh produce, don't necessarily want to go to a grocery store to buy it, though.
That's correct, yes. And I'm sure we're just getting a very small percentage, but there is that percentage out there that would like to come out and meet the fellow person that grew the product. So we're tapping into that.
Okay. And it also affords you a little bit of a downtime during the summer where you might not normally have it.
That's correct. We're sort of an off-season producer of tomatoes. We have tomatoes here at the farm stand generally from November all through the winter up till about July, when your garden tomatoes are coming in, and field tomatoes, and that's when we clean the greenhouses out, start the seeds, and hopefully back in production by November again. Okay. That's sort of the cycle.
So what's the message for folks, I guess, over Lynchburg way? Just, come on out and get it. There's always something to see and do.
Yeah, that's right. Keep up to date with go to our website, yodersfarm.com. Check us out on Facebook. And if you want to be informed, then you can sign up for our email updates, and we'll try to let you know what's coming next. We're small, we're family, but we try to do a good job, and we're blessed to be here and participate in food production.
Strawberry is almost a year-round thing, so I kind of have my mind. I help out in other places here on the farm, but that's kind of foremost in my mind. So we're thinking about planting as soon as we're done with this year's crop, and so I'm thinking strawberries pretty much year-round.
Okay. So people who might normally see it, they're here for about a month or two, and then that's it. It's really a whole lot more than that.
That's correct. Last year we got our first little baby plants July, and we picked the last berries in June. So it's pretty much a year-round deal.
Okay. What is it about pick your own strawberries that people seem to love so much?
I think there's something cool about just picking your food from the plant, where it grew, the place it grew. I think that's what they like. And families, we see a lot of families coming out here. It makes a nice, outing, that kind of thing. So I think it's kind of all those things.
A lot of the produce ends up in kids' mouths too, I guess.
Some of it does, yeah. We see some red stained faces, yeah.
But then they've had a good time.
There you go. If it's tasty, they'll eat it, yeah.
Advice for folks coming out to pick: is there a better time of day or a better time of the week to come do it?
Typically, it's slower out here early in the week. Monday, Tuesday. So if you're looking for a quantity, we're closed Sunday, so it gives a day for the berries to ripen. Here, early season, it takes 2 weeks till they really get up and producing. So if you want a quantity, you might wait a little bit. I would, just come prepared. It could be a sunny day, you might want some sunscreen, sun protection. You can bring your own containers, or we sell a little container here, and just come on out and find some berries.
You sell them by the quart? Or?
Yeah, we sell some pre-picked here. Okay. We try to have quarts and 5-pound flats. Try to have it available all the time. You could pre-order if you wanted to make sure they were here for you.
What's the typical reaction, I guess, especially from the kids? I'm thinking, the families, like you said, that come out. I mean, are they just thrilled to be able to do something like this?
Yeah, I think so. They're thrilled to be outside. There's something about strawberries that just kind of creates excitement in people, and I don't know exactly what it is, but something about seeing a nice, juicy, sweet red strawberry just gets people excited. Yeah, kids, you hear, oh wow, look at that. Oh, there's a big one. Those kind of things.
That's it for this edition of Lynchburg 360. Check back with us next month when we'll have more on all the great things that Lynchburg has to offer.